and a very warm welcome to you, Fatih Birol. Let me thank you and the International Energy Agency for the excellent cooperation we have developed over the years. In recent and mostly in difficult times, we have always been able to rely on each other, and I'm very much looking forward to working with you another 5 years now. In 1 month, we will mark 1,000 days since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. 1,000 days of absolute cruelty from the Kremlin. Since the beginning, they have been targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure to try and plunge the country in the dark. Half of all the country's energy infrastructure has been destroyed. This is approximately the equivalent of the capacity of the 3 Baltic states together. So it gives you an idea of the brutality of these attacks. And just 2 weeks ago, on August 26th, more than 230 missiles were launched during a 12-hour attack. They were directed at power stations, substations and other key infrastructure, and millions of Ukrainians were left without electricity for several hours. As Ukraine's friends and partners, we must do all we can to keep the lights on. And as winter is approaching, we must keep the brave people of Ukraine warm, while we also are keeping the economy running. The objective is to address the immediate needs of the population while we make Ukraine's energy system more resilient in the long term. Now, overall, Ukraine needs 17 gigawatts of power capacity for this winter. Today, I want to propose action in 3 areas. It's repair, it's connect, and it is stabilize. So let's first have a look at the element repair. 80% of Ukraine's thermal plants have been destroyed, and a third of the hydropower capacity. So this is where we will concentrate our repair efforts, with the aim to restoring 2.5 gigawatt of capacity this winter. That is approximately 15% of Ukraine's needs. And we will continue coordinating all possible support from our member states through the civil protection mechanism. So far, we have managed to send more than 10,000 power generators and transformers, and more help is coming. As we speak, for example, there's a full thermal power plant that is being dismantled in Lithuania and shipped piece by piece to Ukraine with our support, and rebuilt then in Ukraine. And this shows the great length of European Union and the member states' willingness to support Ukraine. The second element to help cover Ukraine's needs for the winter is the export of electricity. We call it Connect. You might recall the synchronization of Ukraine's grid with ours that we had started in February 2022, just as Russia's war broke out. Back then, we had planned to do this connection of Ukraine's grid with the European grid over the next 2 years. But when Russia attacked, we did all we could to speed up this process. And instead of 2 years, Ukraine's grid was connected to the European one in 2 weeks. This allows us now to export the much-needed power to Ukraine. We export 2 gigawatts of electricity to Ukraine, which also covers roughly 12% of the country's need for the winter. It compensates, for example, the equivalent of the loss of power generation from the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, as you know, that is now under illegal Russian control. So if you take all in all, with our 2 pillars, repair and connect, we cover over 25% of Ukraine's needs for the winter. The big bulk, of course, has to be produced in Ukraine. And my third point is on our work to stabilize the flow of energy in the country. We are boosting decentralized production of energy. This includes rolling out more renewables in the country. As you know, solar plants on rooftops are harder to hit and easier to repair than large central infrastructure. And while it helps secure a steadier flow of energy in the country, it also pushes forward Ukraine's energy independence and the clean transition. We are, for example, dispatching solar panels to 21 hospitals in the country to ensure continued energy supply. 8 of them should be fully equipped by this winter. We are also sharing expertise and working together with Ukraine on cyber awareness and cyber security to make their energy system more resilient. These 3 objectives, repair, connect, stabilize, require significant financial support. Overall, we estimate that our support to Ukraine's energy sector since February 2022 amounts to at least 2 billion euros. And that is a low estimate because it does not take into account all in-kind donations. And today I can announce that we will make an additional amount of close to 160 million euros available for this winter. This includes 60 million euros in humanitarian aid for shelters and heaters, for example. And it includes around 100 million euros for repair works and renewables. And these 100 million euros come from the proceeds of the immobilized Russian assets in the European Union. Because it is only right that Russia pays for the destruction it caused. We know that more is needed, so we must keep transferring part of the proceeds from immobilized Russian assets to Ukraine's energy resilience. In 2 weeks' time, the heating season starts. As temperatures are dropping down, the European Union is ready to step up its support to Ukraine. We are preparing for the winter together. After this press conference, I will be traveling to Kyiv to discuss these matters in person with President Zelensky tomorrow. In our efforts to help Ukraine, I'm very glad that I can count on the continued support of the International Energy Agency. And, dear Fatih, the floor is yours.